Barramundi are possibly our most iconic sports fish. And I've come to Mackay to enjoy some of the hospitality and hit Kinchant Dam with local young gun Barra Pro, AFC Tournament Angler Dan Grech. He's here to show us some of his favourite techniques for chasing them both in the impoundments and the salt, mate. I know it's a little bit tough in the impoundments at the moment, but you tell us how you catch them. I know we'll learn something from it and we'll see if we can turn one in the process. Let's go and have a look. Give us a tour, mate.
So some of my favourite places to try and locate barra is of course structure. So you need to find structure. Structure holds bait and with bait comes the fish. So try and look for things like weed beds, lily pads, timber, drop-offs, points, secondary points. Those sort of areas are key areas for holding bait, and when the bait's there, the barra will actually come up and feed on them. So in saltwater, you know, it's mainly the structure like timber, and in freshwater it's a lot of the time it's weed beds. The second tip would be to try a lot of areas. Sometimes the fish are sitting on those weed beds, sometimes the fish are sitting out in the deep. So you want to try a number of different areas, and once you find an area that has fish, try and work them out on what they're going to eat. The last tip is to try and find the water temperature. Water temperature dictates how barra feed, so it dictates their moods, it dictates whether they're going to be active or non-active, and whether they're going to eat or not eat. So if you try and find areas that obviously are typically warmer, or in the very hot months that are typically colder, then those sort of areas will have a lot more active fish in it. Alright guys, I'll run you through a few of my favourite lures. So this is a surface lure. Basically you won't throw on this first thing up in the morning or real late in the afternoon, over top of the weed beds, over top of timber, working it out, walking the dog. Barra love them. Next one is a minnow style hard body. So basically you're looking for these when you're up in that shallower water, anywhere from about 3 to about 10 foot. Work them on there, twitch them, pretty constant retrieve, hitting the slack. The next one is a soft plastic. So basically all you're doing with these ones is you're casting them up, letting them sink or slow rolling them straight in. And yeah, very, very popular now and very, very good technique for catching barra.
Dan, we've got 3 different lures here. There's so many different ways to fish lures for barra these days. It would take us hours to go through all the retrieves. So out of these 3 different lures, you show us 3 of your favourite retrieves for tempting a fish. First
of all, we'll start off with a surface lure. So basically all you do is you get it out there. Of course it's going to float, being a surface lure. And you give it a couple of quick twitches with a few paws thrown in between. So you're basically trying to hit the slack, and all it does is look like a wounded bait fish, and a lot of the time fish will just come straight up underneath it and suck it off the surface.
You get that lovely side-to-side action. When Dan talks walk the dog, he's talking about the side-to-side action. Important to have pauses, and nothing better than seeing a fish come and eat stuff off the surface.
It's the best type of fishing. The next one is soft plastic. So with the soft plastic, you get it out there, let it sink to the bottom or on top of the weed, and then it's a slow retrieve back. And if it's fairly deep water, halfway back, let it sink again. Just make sure you keep it in those lower zones where the fish are. Plastics, there's mainly 2 or 3 types, but with a paddle tail, you want to basically let it do all the work. There's no need to tweak it, there's no need to do anything else with it. With a jerkbait style, you'll want to give it all the action. So it just looks like a dead fish in the water. You want to give it the action and make it look alive. The last one.
One of the most infamous barra lures, the old bibbed hard body lure.
That's it. So these have been around forever. So they have a bib on them. All they need to do is be in the water, a tweak down, and that'll get them swimming. You can either slow wind them, or you can give them a lot of tweaks. So most lures nowadays are suspending or slow floating, and that's most of the time when the fish is going to bite.
Well, mate, there we go, 3 different lures, 3 different retrieves. We'd learn those, get a bit of confidence in them, and you're well on your way to catching
Meter plus
very
barra.
Nice barramundi. All right, mate. Speaking of that, let's go and crack on. There looks like a very nice point coming up here. There's different types of tackle you can use to chase barra these days. Obviously, you can see Dan and I are using different outfits. What I'm using is a spin outfit. When I hit the impoundments, or the salt for that matter, like something in that 6 to 10 kilo range in terms of your spin rod, loaded up with a 4,500 size reel, 20, 30 pound braid's a good starting point, and 40 to 60 pound leaders. Dan, talk us through, you obviously got the bait caster.
Yeah, I got the bait caster, mate. We sort of go for a medium sized bait caster. We don't want anything too big for using it all day, and we don't want anything too small. We just don't have the line capacity. Normally put 20 or 30 pound braid on it, and I got a 6'6" here, and then normally I like to go about 6 to 8 kilos. Just gives you that better casting ability, longer cast, more accurate cast.
And I think one of the best tips too is to don't get too heavy in your gear these days. A lot of finesse techniques on the market. You'll fish them a lot better with some slightly lighter gear, so don't be afraid to go light. You'll enjoy your fishing a lot more as well.
The thing I love about barra fishing is just being outdoors, the thrill of the hunt, and once you hook up, it's all so exciting. Just barra jumping out of the water, and whether you're catching little ones or big ones, it's all fun. They're just an awesome fish to catch, and we're so lucky to have them up here.